This is Sky World News, our top stories this hour. We start with breaking news from Spain. Catalan police have killed 4 suspected terrorists and seriously injured a 5th in a shootout in the town of Cambrils, south of Barcelona. In the past hour, police have carried out controlled explosions in Cambrils. The suspects were believed to have been wearing explosive belts. It follows the lethal van attack on crowds in Las Ramblas in Barcelona's city centre yesterday afternoon. Well, we've just got a further development on this story. So earlier I broke that Catalan police have killed 4 suspected terrorists and seriously injured a 5th. The latest from them, according to the Reuters news agency, Catalan police say the situation in Cambrils is under control after killing the attackers in this operation.
We turn to Eric Johnson. He's in London now with Bloomberg's First Word News. Eric.
Thanks, David. Italian police have killed the man suspected of carrying out the fatal truck attack in Berlin. Italy's Interior Minister at a press conference in Rome says Anis Amri was fatally shot near a Milan area train station. Police say Amri fired on officers when stopped for an identification check and died when police returned fire. If the residents of West London at first seemed shell-shocked, now they are angry. Angry at the mounting number of dead, now 17, and angry at the failings which led to the Grenfell Tower fire. The fire brigade says it could be weeks before the search of the tower is complete, and the list of victims is expected to become much longer.
Well, let's go now to London and speak with journalist Eric Johnson. Eric, can you just update us? Are there still people feared missing in that building, perhaps dead?
Yes, unfortunately, I can report that there are still a number of people who are missing. Earlier, we did have a press conference from the emergency services. They did make clear, though, that it's going to be very difficult to find out exactly how many people are still accounted for. Nearly 500,000 people are thought to be in need of assistance as unprecedented flooding hits Texas. The US Congress confirmed it will help those affected by pumping money in and resources. Tropical storm Harvey is known to have killed at least 3 people, though reports from a local TV station says it's feared a family of 6 may have also died. Well, let's get more now from Dan Leonard, and he's a meteorologist at the Weather Company, and he's on the line now from Boston. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us. So the hurricane has subsided, but the rain is relentless. Will there be any relief for Houston anytime soon?
It's really just amazing. I've followed storms for a long time here in the U.S., Eric, and I've never seen one do what this is doing.
Well, let's get more now on the admission that Donald Trump did help his son, Donald Jr., to write a statement about his meeting with Russian officials during the election campaign. The White House has said that the president, quote, weighed in as any father would, despite the president's lawyer previously denying that he'd done so just 2 weeks ago. Well, we're joined now by Professor of Political Science Peter Matthews, who's in Long Beach in California. Mr. Matthews, always a joy to speak to you. Thanks so much for joining us. So, the White House have confirmed that the president had weighed in on his son's Russia statement. Is this perfectly fine, just perfectly acceptable as a father, or is this an obstruction of justice?
Well, this is not a normal father or a normal son.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told Russian President Vladimir Putin that Iran's growing role in Syria poses a threat, not only to Israel, but to the Middle East and the world. Mr. Netanyahu was speaking during talks in Russia's Black Sea resort of Sochi. Well, joining us now is Herb Kanon, the diplomatic correspondent of the Jerusalem Post. Herb, great to speak to you. So is President Putin likely to be sympathetic towards Israel's concerns about Iran's presence in Syria?
Look, I think in the past we've seen that the Putin has shown sensitivity to Israel's security concerns.
Now, it was one of boxing's biggest fights ever and criticised by many as a mismatch. But the ultimate fighting star, Conor McGregor, lasted more than 9 rounds before finally being defeated by Floyd Mayweather. The American, hailed as one of the greatest boxers in history, announced his retirement afterwards. He leaves the sport undefeated in 50 professional fights. Well, let's get more details from Yahoo Sports boxing columnist Kevin Oley, who joins us from Las Vegas. Kevin, thanks a lot for joining us. So I understand you were actually at the game last night, the fight. So how was it and how significant was this fight to the boxing world?
Oh, it was a very significant fight in boxing. I mean, you're talking about worldwide attention on the sport of boxing.
So Mayweather, he came out of retirement for the game. But I'm interested to know, did he do it for the love of the sport? Did he do it for the money? Or did he just want one more victory to make it a nice round 50?
I think a little bit of all of those. I think, though, if he didn't make the kind of money he made last night, he certainly would not have done that.
Well, we've got a bit of breaking news that has reached us here at Sky News Centre now from multiple sources, and Panama has broken diplomatic ties with Taiwan and has established relations with Beijing. Pro-Islamic State militants have stormed a school in the Philippines, taking a number of students hostage. In the last hour, Reuters news agency have reported that 300 armed men have stormed the school, and the number of hostages is still not known. The US Navy has confirmed 7 of their sailors that went missing when their Navy destroyer ship collided with a container ship have been confirmed dead. In a surprise move this morning, Saudi Arabia's King Salman has removed his brother's son as crown prince. The 81-year-old monarch has named his own son, Mohammed bin Salman, as his heir. Italy's former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is campaigning for the no side in the constitutional reform vote next month. The billionaire says the top managers at his companies support current Prime Minister Matteo Renzi, who says the reforms will make Italy easier to govern. Italy's Prime Minister Matteo Renzi is ending the speculation. He says he'll resign a few hours from now. On Sunday, Renzi said he would quit after voters overwhelmingly rejected a constitutional reform referendum. In northern Mozambique, a fuel tanker exploded as residents gathered around to purchase fuel from the driver, killing at least 73 people. One report said badly burnt people had tried to run into a nearby river. At least 110 others were injured. And you may recall Trump suggesting that UK Independence Party leader Nigel Farage would make a great ambassador to the US. But Chancellor of the Exchequer Philip Hammond says Farage shouldn't hold his breath waiting for an appointment. Hammond told ITV if he ever needs advice from Farage, he'll give him a call. Global news 24 hours a day, powered by more than 2,600 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Eric Johnson, and this is Bloomberg.